Hello and good afternoon, good evening, and in some locations, good morning. Welcome to Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and friends. And indeed, I have a bunch of friends here today. Listen, this is going to be a fun, positive show. We have a lot to get into. We're talking Halo Studios. Why this is a big deal. You've already heard my, give you my hot take on it. I do want to hear from Mag, who's joining us, who actually is one of the founding fathers of this show. Primetime Gaming. He's back tonight to give us his hot take. Of course, Hargeet is here. He's going to give us his hot take. He is super stoked as much as I am. I think there is a lot to really, really get excited about, especially when it comes to, well, one of the pillars that make Xbox the brand that it is. I mean, it literally launched and became successful because of Halo. And, well, it does seem, and again, this is just me kind of spitballing here, if the cards are played correctly, we could logistically be getting the three pillars as possible launch titles for the Xbox in 2026. Now, again, this is just me spitballing here. I don't know if they would release all three games, but boy, oh boy, would that be a launch lineup to get Gears E-Day, to get the new Halo, whatever that's going to look and be like, and potentially a visit to Japan with Forza Horizon 6. I mean, it's basically a storybook that's already been written. We just got to see if it transpires. But we're also going to get into gaming, which is what we're all here to talk about. And October seems to be the month of 2024 that is not only taxing to our time and hands, but our wallets, because my God, there's been so many freaking games, and there are still many more to get to come. So listen, Hargeet Chani, welcome back, brother. I can't wait to hear your hot takes. I did not get a chance to listen to Dave and you guys go over it on Sunday when the news broke. And again, how often does Sunday news actually break? Never. It just never does. Mrs. Boom has been down the count with the flu. I'm kind of feeling a little wonky myself, so I haven't been paying much attention, but I did finish, folks, the prologue demo of why can't I think of a name? What was that?
Metaphor v. Fantasio?
Yes, thank you. Metaphor, which I said I wasn't going to do it. The FOMO got to me. I canceled my physical copy, and I got the digital $100 edition, and I didn't pay for it. I used my points, my Xbox points, and I didn't pay a single penny for that game. And, of course, Game of the Year possibility. But how are you feeling, Hargeet? Welcome.
Yeah, I'm good. That was a great announcement. It was kind of a late breaking as we're like starting up the podcast, and it kind of changed the direction of what we were going over. Because remember, there was other Halo news that broke.
There was a third-person Halo news that completely just went right out of.
So we start talking about third-person mode, and suddenly this drops, and we're like, "Oh my goodness!" So it's been interesting times.
Yeah, it's funny how we're going to get into it. It's funny how it turned to negativity, which of course it always does. It turned out to somehow, because of the sound that is used for Halo, that's a Sony actual, branded sound thing that they use. Somehow or another that confirms that it's coming to PS5. And listen, folks, it's been confirmed that same sound from Sony they've used that they're going to use for the new Halo has been in the last 5 Halos. So it's just business, folks. But we're going to get into it. The Mag, what's going on, brother?
Yes.
How the heck are you, man?
It's been a controversial week for me, as some people have delved into my my thoughts and feelings on this generation so far. However, for the most part, I think everybody's kind of gotten over it. I can't see anybody in the chat tonight. Sorry, guys. I'm in the middle of redesigning my studio right now, and as a result, I do not have my second screen up. So just to be on the show tonight, I literally just, with some like popsicle sticks and some glue, I slapped together a camera and a microphone here so I could get on the air and talk with these fine gentlemen. But I gave a lot of thoughts about Monday night when we literally talked about Halo on XNC with Colt for 2 hours.
Yeah.
and we got a lot of information in there. However, some speculation that I had, which we'll get into in a bit, some speculation that I had about Halo sounds like, as I've been digging a little deeper into some of my people that work over in the Xbox Game Studios camp, I think one of the things I said might have struck a nerve, but we'll get into that very soon. And as for gaming this month, it's going to be an exciting month. It already is. I'm so behind, and I'm really trying to catch up with everything. But you got to say it's hard to keep up when you got a bunch of great games, and it's just going to be a cascade of quality from now until the end of the year. And fingers crossed for indie. I'm really pulling for it. As a huge indie fan. So, and then, and you know what? This ReFantazio game, it's not my bag. It's not my thing. But God bless you if you're having a good time.
Have you tried it?
And no, it's just, I watch gameplay, and I've tried those style of games before, and it just doesn't pull me in.
Okay, I mean, that's fair.
But hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think. At the end of the day, it's going to be one of those Game of the Year nominations. It's
Indeed.
You know what I mean? And for me, I'm actually a little shocked by it because I really didn't see another contender entering the ring this late in the game, so to speak, because the cutoff's in 1 month.
Yes.
So I was really shocked to see that this game came out of, well, I mean, it didn't come out of left field. It came out of left field for me, but for other people, it certainly didn't. But anyways, let's get into the show. We got things to talk about. Enough of me rambling. Let's talk games. Let's do it.
Well, before let's get right into Halo. Let's get right into that, because obviously you and Colt spent 2 hours talking about it.
Yes.
We talked about it a couple of times this week, both Monday and Tuesday show. We did refer to a lot of the presser. We use that as a talking point. Hargeet, I do want to go right back. I want to go right to you, because obviously you got a chance to go over this with Dave. And again, it's one of those instances, folks, where. And it's happened to me more often than not, simply because I'm retired, and a lot of the stuff happens midday. And if it's really big, I happen to be lucky enough to do midday shows, at least 3 of the 5 live shows that start at 12. There is an early one on Friday morning, and of course there is the late one here on Wednesdays. So I get more often than not an opportunity to cover these things. Look, I know that this is one of those topics that, and I saw a lot of negativity, Harky. There was a lot of negativity for other reasons that we're just not going to get into, because I found a lot of it gross and disingenuous. And it to me, that's not the kind of rhetoric that I like, not the water I want to swim in. We will get to that when we're here to talk about some serious angles that some people just, and something, again, not getting into it too much. I went on a blocking crusade that anyone that was commenting that was just disgusting. I just wanted to blocking. I don't have time. I'm 54 years old, and I want my timeline nice and clean. I want to talk about games, and I want to talk about Halo because, look, I have nearly 23 days in Halo Infinite. It's my favorite multiplayer of all time. That banner, or that belt, that championship belt, had been held by Halo 3 for years. Halo 3 was one of my favorite Halos of all time for a multitude of reasons, especially for the multiplayer. I played it religiously. I even trained to actually attempt to go pro, and I just don't got the skills like that, even way back then. But I love Halo Infinite. I absolutely love everything that they do with it. But if there is one striking removal from Halo that has been very apparent and very disappointing as a diehard OG Halo fan, it's been the fact that single player campaign was just basically, we got what we got and that is it. And the explanation was, well, the team couldn't, get it together, or they couldn't figure it out. Whatever the case may be, it just didn't work out. We never found out what happened to Locke. We never found out what happened to Team Osiris. We never found out how they literally got to where they got when Chief is floating in outer space outside of a very small cutscene. There was so much before that they could have told. And we're not going to, again, this is me speculating. I don't know if we're going to get an Atriox ending. We're never going to know are they ever going to get a rematch? Well, I don't know. But I am going to say that what happened on Sunday, Hargeet, was probably the best Halo news that we have gotten in a really, really long time. I mean, we got a new engine, and again, controversy because there's some people that says Unreal Engine 5 it can't do 60 frames. I have to push back on that for anyone that wants to believe that, simply because just look at what Coalition does with Gears. They get Gears running at 60 with no problem. Halo Studios will get help from them, and obviously they're the masters of the Unreal Engine. I think this is going to be big for the series. But getting back to its roots and hearing that they're doing multiple projects has me tickled pink. And I don't think all of those multiple projects are multiplayer. I think that they know that we as fans want a strong single player chief story. Now, I'm not saying that there's not room for other stories, because yes, there is. I'm hoping that at some point, one of those multiple projects is something similar in size, scope, and scale to what we got with ODST. That was a triumph done by no one saw that coming, right? And it wound up being probably one of my favorite stories. So I want to get back to that, but I want to get your hot take on the direction, because we know where the team at Forza is going, right? We know that they consistently are getting better. We know they have a new engine. We saw it with Forza Motorsport. That same engine is going to be then moved on to the next Horizon, which is great. We know that the Coalition, masters of the Unreal Engine 5, are doing basically the gaming god's work with E-Day. It was Halo that was kind of sitting on the outs, and now that seems to have been fixed. Let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, look, they were, they needed something, right, to kind of change the I guess the energy that was surrounding where Halo is. Halo Infinite is in a pretty good place now. It started awesome, and then they decided to call it a live service game, which unfortunately comes with expectations, and those expectations were just not met. That's just the way it is, and because of that, it fell off, right? So, they have been trying to struggle to get it back to where it should be. They kind of have, but it also hasn't really gotten to the point where it's back to where the player base is there. Now I think it does pretty well on Xbox. I don't think it does as well on PC as it could, but hey, it is where it is, and maybe that's okay for Halo. But what they needed was a direction, like you were mentioning, Boom. Like where's the content from the campaign perspective?
Yeah,
because there was an expectation of like this is going to keep adding up. And the way the game played, right, the campaign played, you had a structure of like, here are the major generals under Atriox.
Yep.
And the assumption was you've gone through the campaign with one. Now you're going to go to the next, eventually getting up to Atriox, right? Who's supposedly dead, but if you finish it on Legendary, you realize he's not. So, so that's kind of what you expected to go into, and you're like, okay, cool, I can take the cliffhanger, let's go, let's get the next piece of content, and nothing. So even if it's just simply just telling us we're gonna continue that in the next campaign that comes out, fine, right? Just tell us that, right? The problem is you created a live game, and so now we're sitting there going, oh, this is the 10-year plan. Where's my campaign content? Am I gonna get no campaign content for 10 years? Right. So this is something they just need to respond to. Right. And up to now, it's been crickets. So now we get this nice little like switcheroo. Right. We had Bonnie Ross, who is retired. My assumption is we'll let go, but retired. And then, we come in with Pierre, and, the energy has sort of shifted. Right. And there are bolder decisions being made, which were needed. And now you're seeing, hey, look, we're gonna push in a different direction and make Halo relevant again, right? Like they came out and said, hey, we're Halo Studios, not just 343 making one game. We're gonna be making multiple games at the same time. That's what you need.
Yeah,
this is your flagship. This is the identity of Xbox, and like it needs to be prominent. Now, if they do what I would love to see, which is you have Halo, Gears, and Forza. And you have 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. There should just be constant flow. And there shouldn't be gaps. I should just be getting every year. There's going to be one of those big flagships is going to be dropping, right? Along with all the other stuff we've got. That's great. That's awesome. but I want the flagships, right? And they've been kind of like not there. Look, to be fair to Coalition carried the Xbox One generation, right? They gave us multiple games. They gave us the offshoots with Gear Tactics, and they gave us the Gears Pop, whatever thing. Right? So they actually went out. They gave you a bunch of games. Forza and Motorsport, and Horizon, they kept going back and forth. So those two carried. Halo was kind of a little different. Like they gave us Halo 5, and at the end of the gen, basically going to the next gen, we finally got Halo Infinite, which really kind of started the next gen, right? So they didn't really do as much there, right? Halo 4 was the end of 360. You got Halo 5. You got Halo Wars 2 in the middle there, which is okay. And that was basically it. So they
Master Chief Collection, when it launched, was a nightmare. And now, granted, it's fantastic now,
exactly.
but
so like this is kind of where they've been, and they kind of need to like pull it together and give you that world-class experience, right? This like Halo, it launched a console. It basically made Xbox a relevant thing, and it changed gaming.
Yeah,
that's what it did. How did it do it? It was excellent at what it did, and it blew people's minds. And now you have to come back to this reality of like, well, it doesn't really resonate, and that's not good, right? So I'm hoping they got that. They understand they need to bring it, and it needs to be something that's going to be special. I hope that's what happens, right? So look at that E-Day trailer, right? How many people had feels about that E-Day trailer, right? That's what you need to have.
Mm-hmm.
So this is step one. We're changing the studio. We're changing the focus. We're going to focus on the game, not the technology, because we know the tech is already there with UE5, and we've got tons of studios around Xbox, not to mention we can talk to Epic, and we can get this thing going, right? Cool. The next part is, what are you making? We need to see the games. We need to see what comes up next. I have hope because of what they're showing me, right? They're focusing on the right things. Halo needs to set the standard. That's right. It does. It should set the standard. Why not? Why shouldn't we expect that? Go ahead, set the standard. Halo needs to go back to its roots. Yes. It needs to be about the gameplay. It needs to be about Master Chief and the universe, but it also can go beyond that. There's a universe out there. Seeing the Flood, like in that nice little, planet thing that they had, like, whatever, maybe that was probably a ring too, but that just brings back the whole thing of what this was about. There was the horror aspect. There was the fighting the Covenant. If they bring back CE, restart this thing in a way, that could be very, very, very cool. Bring new audiences in, right? That would be awesome. I was hyped just by the fact that they've decided that they need to do the things that they need to do. And that was kind of what that whole 6-minute video was. It was, hey, we understand. We weren't on the right track. We're changing the energy here, and we're going to be going on the right track. And I think that was what I got out of it, right? And I'm like, hell yeah, this is exactly what I needed to see, right? You care about the IP. You care about bringing this back to where it should be, and you're going to give us more than one game at a time.
Yes.
That's what needs to happen, right? You can't just be locking it to yourself. You will be doing the mainline ones. Fair enough. Let's get others to give us other stuff. Let's go. Like Halo should be prominent. And that's what I'm looking for, right? And now they have a ton of studios out there that can help them. They have a ton of outside people that can help them. It's UE, right? That'll help as far as the development process, right? So that's what I get out of it. I like the direction change. And I think, I don't know if this is the first time I've seen anything with Pierre. I don't know if this is the first time he's ever publicly talked or anything, but I like it.
Well, he's been the lead
like
for 2 years. He's been the lead for 2 years, but he's quietly been doing things in the background. Remember, he took over, and when you have a studio like 343 Industries that had as much trouble as it had, it just does not change overnight. You're talking about culture. You're talking about consistency. I think one of the biggest things I talked about this, and I'm not sure if you guys did, is this policy that they have with the temps for Seattle. Like that's a big problem. Like after
it's
18
not theirs,
months,
right?
No, it's not theirs per se.
What can they do?
But what they can do, at least in the interim, is hire people that are doing the work so they could be there. Now, I mean, I don't know if that's
unfortunately a lot of
it.
times studios at AAA level, that's what they flex up to finish a game and then they flex down, right?
Yes.
And usually you hire contractors. That's how you do it. Unfortunately, and this was one of their problems, when you have a custom engine, it's tough to do that.
It's
right?
tough to learn.
This is one of the beauties of UE. It's like, hey, it's industry standard. We're just asking you to work in UE, right? Don't worry about the guts and innards. We got that piece. You just have to use the interface of UE and give us our content, get our game going, right? So I think that'll help there. The 18-month thing is, unfortunately, it's a state of Washington thing.
Yep.
And this, unfortunately, they are in the state of Washington, right? They're right in the hub of Microsoft and Redmond. This is how it is. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Now, what they also could do is say, hey, we can have a sister studio somewhere else, right? And that studio doesn't have that problem. Fair enough. That's one of the things they could do. But I think UE just gives them so much opportunity.
I agree.
Because they could always ask for help from so many different studios across the the Xbox ecosystem at this point, right? Along with the potential to bring in third-party studios, right? So they have a lot of options there. One of the things I mentioned in one of your super chats was, I wish it was up, it was at the point of having bought Activision, because then they could have taken a serious look at the COD engine. Because that's another one that, whether we understand it or not, it is an industry standard. Why? Because it's such a magnum game that just takes up so much energy. A lot of people in the industry know how to do work in COD engine. So besides the fact that they have the Activision employees themselves, there's people out there in the world that do know how to use the COD engine, how to work in the COD engine, because it just ramps up every freaking year that people have to finish up the game. So there's so many people out there who know the COD engine, and it's so well suited for that FPS mode. It's just, and it's based on id Tech, which again Microsoft now owns. It is a massively awesome engine. Now UE just shines though, and you see those graphics.
Yep,
and it just shines, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they can do. Look, there is, again, I do not see any downsides to this. I see only upswing. And again, it's not because I'm trying to be overly positive for the fact of just, well, let's be positive. I don't think that there's anything from this announcement, from what they showed, how they spoke about it.
Yeah.
When you compare where Halo was just before that announcement, we're talking literally night and day. I don't, again, I know this.
So, Boom, I'll ask this. Why shouldn't we be happy? Why shouldn't we be happy? Right? We always get like pummeled by the other side of the aisles. Like, why do you just keep, like, dude, tell me what you've got on your side. They have one AAA new IP this entire generation. You know what it is? It's Concord. Where's that game?
It's not available.
Where's that game?
Yeah.
They should just shut up. We can be happy. There's no reason for us not to be happy.
No, I
we get games.
Yes, we do.
We get games. We have a roadmap of games, and we've been getting games, and we can get good news and actually enjoy it. There's no reason not to enjoy it.
I just think that if you look, I don't like taking sides here, but if you are on Team Blue and you're pointing the finger, I think you should turn that finger to Sony and maybe make it a middle finger, because they haven't been doing anything. They just haven't. I'm sorry. And what they have decided to do is become a remaster station. And I get it, because they need money, and some of the stuff that they're supposedly cooking was put on hiatus.
You know what the next one is, right? Little Big Planet 3. They took it off the store. That's the next remake.
Yeah, that's I mean, Little Big Planet 3 is great. I have it. I haven't played it in years. I think it's stuck on PlayStation 3. If you want to play a Little Big Planet game, you definitely should get the PlayStation 5 one. It's really good. I very much enjoy it. But yeah, there is, again, I do not see any downside to this. Mag, I want to bring you in. I want to get your hot take on some of the things that you covered with Colt, because obviously you said there was one particular piece that you think might have struck in the nerve. I don't know what that piece is, but this is very exciting news for anyone like myself and like Hargeet, who have been waiting for a actual campaign past what they told us in Infinite. And Infinite was phenomenal. It was great from start to finish. The problem is that there was supposed to be a whole bunch of stuff on the back end that we never got. So this is now the studio, and I said this before, the way that Heinz, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, who is the head of now the newly formed Halo Studios, put it or basically painted a picture was this is basically turning the page. He says that the chapter 1 was Bungie. That's long gone. Chapter 2 was 343 Industries, and now they are not just changing names, they're changing a lot of things. And I like the idea of of them shedding the skin of 343 and going in this direction, because it is a direction that none of us, we all hoped that they would get there. We just never knew that they would. Let's get your thoughts, man.
Absolutely. As a big fan, hey, Jean-Marc Louis, how are you doing, my good friend? In the chat, sorry. He had nice things to say to me. Same with Xbox Mike, Xboxer Mike,
Xboxer Mike.
Yeah, yes, he hates my guts. But anyways, back to Halo. We had a great conversation on Monday with Colt Eastwood about it. And I had Samurai K. I call him KGB. He's great. Go sub to his channel, by the way. Check the link in the other show. Great guy. A lot of insight, a big Halo guy. Again, by the way, people excuse the camera and the lighting. It's really bad. I just put this together last minute because I'm redoing the studio. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. I am, for one, excited about the idea of it. Out of the two big games that, for me, that Xbox had in 2021 that I thought was put them on the Publisher of the Year award, one of them, my number one game, was Psychonauts 2. That is still my Xbox game of the generation, hands down. My second game of the year was Halo Infinite.
Yep.
Wherever that landed. I can't remember how that landed or where that landed. I loved it. I love the game. Sue me. You know what I mean? So I love the game. A lot of people didn't like it, whatever else. I thought the campaign was a lot of fun. I played through it twice. I destroyed the entire open world. I did. I got 100% on it, as I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
The multiplayer, had a great time with that. Played it with Titan Drago and some other people, whatever. We had a blast with that. And everybody was in on that. Dreadpool, a whole bunch of guys. We all had a great time. Wandering Dutch, we did some live streams of it on YouTube, whatever. Anyways, the point is, where they fell short on that one, at least, is that the multiplayer was just not supported enough by 343 Studios. And you can't give me one map after 11 months. You know what I mean? And then people just said, well, all right, see you later. And they left. And that's a big problem. You know what I mean? What they're doing here, I feel that this situation, to me, reminds me of how EA went to Vince Zampella and said, hey, dude, can you please fix Battlefield? Right?
Yeah.
And so they're like, you know, they fell apart. Like Battlefield 5, I really liked it. Okay, I liked Battlefield 5. I had no problem with that. The other one, I couldn't even put in more than a couple hours into the new, what was it called? Battlefield 2047, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
Garbage.
2042, something like that?
Yeah, whatever year it was that we haven't reached yet. That's the game. Right. So anyways, I played that game, couldn't stand it, whatever. Obviously, it didn't strike a chord with anybody except on a negative note, because again, they went to Zampella and they said, Zampella, please fix this. So what did he do? He went in there and he's like, okay, guys, let's pull this onion apart and let's get to the bones of this thing. Let's get to scratch and let's figure this out. And they're digging in from the beginning and going on the way through. Now, Halo seems to be like they're doing the same thing. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed Halo Infinite. I know people on this panel, people in this chat have enjoyed Halo Infinite. Great. However, we have to think to ourselves that the one of the reasons, and this is what KGB was saying on XNC on Monday, he's like, yeah, I really have to look in the mirror and start wondering why they sort of went with a whole overhaul, is because, face the reality, folks, it did not light the world on fire. Right. And because of that, it didn't have the engagement that they wanted. It did not hit the financial targets that they wanted. I know that is a fact. I spoke to the studio leads about that. They did not hit their financial targets. Therefore, they're doing this overhaul. Then they got the new name, which I don't like, by the way. I got to say, I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of this logo that they've got going on. I don't like the A. I think the A looks ridiculous. But I think that they could have kept that branding the same with the same Halo and still call it Halo Studios. Just put the original Halo name in there, like the font that they had for the original Halo. I think that would have been fine. The fact that they have dumped that leads me to believe that that this game is going to be a complete, from the ground up reboot of the story with no carryovers, no sequel, No story continuations, which sucks because the Infinite story ended in a unique way that I wasn't happy about. But hey, whatever. We can't get everything we want. I won't spoil it if anybody else hasn't played it yet. They're starting from ground zero, and that's what's going to happen. Now, I think they're going to be changing a lot of things. The reason why we keep hearing this rumor about the Halo Combat Evolved remake is I think that that's going to be the olive branch that they're handing out to the hardcore fans and say, hey, listen, guys, here's your last stab at the old guard, so to speak. We're going to give you that homage. We're going to give you that Halo Combat Evolved remake from the ground up in UE5. Here you go. This is for all of you as a thank you for all your years of service, so to speak. And there you go. However, Halo is no longer going to be the Halo you know. It's not going to play the same. It's not going to be the same. It's not. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a ground up remake, and that's what's going to end up happening. And so that's what I see moving forward. Me, as an old curmudgeon, I surprisingly am excited for that. I know a lot of people, especially when they get older, you get fixed in your ways, right? However, when it comes to my gaming and like what I consider gaming as an art form, I still think that actually changing this thing from the ground up and starting all over again is absolutely great with me. I'm totally good with something new, something fresh, and bring something new to the table. Now, we also have to factor in there that they are not making this game and future games for me. They're not making it for you. They're not making it for some of the people in the chat. You know what they're making it for? They're making it for my kids. They're making it for my kids because my kids are going to be consumers for the next 30 years, right? That's what they're aiming for. They already got us. The next Halo comes out, I'm going to play it, regardless of what Corey No Life says in the chat. I'm going to be there and play Halo day one because I love Halo. I've always liked Halo. Hot take, I actually prefer the Halo series over the Gears series. I think that there were better games down the line for Halo than there were Gears. That's just my personal feeling. I think Gears 4 and 5 missed the mark. But the other Gears, I love them. But Halo consistently have done better for me. And even more hot take, I actually think that the 343 Studios Halos are pretty damn good. I thought Halo 4 and 5 were excellent games.
Yeah, 4 was great. I did not enjoy 5 at all.
Really? I played through 5 a couple times. And then, of course, I loved Halo Infinite. Like I said, it was my second favorite Xbox game this generation. I'm not a racing fan, so I still played Forza Horizon, but that wasn't my top of the list. I was going to go Psychonauts, then Halo Infinite. Anyways, back to the story. The point is they're making it for our kids, okay? And our grandkids or our nephews or our nieces or whatever. And they're doing that because you're trying to snag a whole new generation of people into the ecosystem. Coca-Cola. Why do they advertise Coca-Cola? It's been out for 130 years. Why? It's that we all know what Coca-Cola is. Not everybody. Some 7-year-olds don't know what Coca-Cola is. And that's why they keep advertising. They're not advertising for me. They're not advertising Dr. Pepper for you, Boom. You know what Dr. Pepper is. You go to the store and you buy it.
Yes,
right?
I do.
Right. And I know you do. I know it's your jam, right? And you know that, like, you already know that. But an 8-year-old kid may not know what Dr. Pepper is, right? And as a result, they keep advertising. And that's what they keep doing over and over. And that's why this Halo situation is going to basically cater to this younger generation. And they're going to do that because they want to bring in more people. Now, we're not going to get into whether this is going to go third-party stuff. I think it is. But that's a whole other conversation for a whole other show. But in terms of releases, this is where I was going to get at. Earlier in the show, I did speak to somebody who works there. And there's a distinct possibility that what we were talking about is that a 2026 of the Combat Evolved remake may be the first thing to drop. Maybe that year. And that's what's sort of internally being targeted. I'm not supposed to say that. But as for the new games, do not expect new games until next generation. So you've got a while to wait. You're looking at least 4 years before you see anything in your hands. Outside of this remake. The remakes are a little bit easier to turn around because they have the assets and they also have the layouts of the games where they can expand upon those and they can pull those apart and say, okay, here are the blueprints. Let's start building it. And that's why, for example, Capcom is so efficient at being able to remake these Resident Evils is because you can go
the bones.
You have the bones. You have the DNA is already there, and you could build around that with the RE engine and everything else, right? Same thing here. What they got is they already have the bones of Combat Evolved. It'll be much easier for them to turn around in 2 years and do this. Now, that being the case, if that is indeed the case, I could see that if this is just a theory, this is not from anybody I've spoken to in Xbox Game Studios. Yes, I still speak to people in the Xbox Game Studios frequently. Is that if there is a launch, a theoretical launch of a handheld or anything like that, what nice way to do that is to launch next to it a Combat Evolved remake from the ground up for UE5.
Yeah,
that is something that would give them a shot in the arm before another year or 2 years before they launch an actual full-blown next generation console for the gamers. So that's something that when I mentioned that, there was a little bit of an uncomfortable pause in there when I talked about that. And I'm like, oh, am I getting a little too close to the mark? And I was met with a little bit of a laugh. So there's a distinct possibility that within 2 years, we could see that Combat Evolved remake come to fruition. So look forward to that. As for, like I said, next gen, new Halo, you're going to be waiting a while. But either way, doesn't mean you should be not excited. Be excited. Be excited. We don't know when E-Day's coming out. I'm excited, but we don't know when it's coming out. Right? But still nice to be happy about stuff. Hey, listen, my dad always said it. There's always something to look for. You want to be happy in this world, always have something to look forward to. Doesn't matter how far away it is, right? And then if that's what you're gonna do, God bless, enjoy. And whatever, just wait your turn, because there's going to be a bit of a wait in there. But like the other guy with KGB that I did the show with, he said basically that Halo that we saw, that little trailer that they released a few days ago, basically that was a very expensive LinkedIn advertisement for developers. Like, hey guys, this is what we're doing. Come work for us. So either way, I'm excited for it. I'm not going to get into the third party stuff because that's not what we're here for today. But yeah, in terms of that, I'm all in because I'm a bigger Halo fan than I am than most of the other franchises on Xbox. So yeah, bring it on.
I mean, listen, I again, we don't know. I believe what you're saying about the quote unquote reboot of the series. I don't necessarily know if it actually needs that. But then again, we do run into a little bit of traffic here, because what do you actually do? What story do you tell? Because if you're not continuing Infinite, are we going to forget all of that happened? And I think the only way you could potentially do that is rebooting the franchise. I would say that my only concern is it needs to be the same type of Halo that we were used to. Now, I'm not saying that it should be like Halo Combat Evolved, where there's no sprint and there's no grappling hook and there's things of that nature. I think that there is room for that. But I don't want at least what I don't want is a drastic change chasing the 13, 14, and 15-year-olds that are going to potentially become consumers or customers later on, and they just forget about all of the OG Halo fans that continue to support this even when their own studio wasn't doing the job. So I don't know where this is going to go, folks. Again, I do believe Mag for 1,000%. I know for a fact, and we talk a lot in the background of stuff that we don't speak about, and I know a lot of stuff thanks to Mag, and it's because he knows a lot of people. So this is going to be interesting. I am going to say that they needed to find their footing, get a direction, get a leader in front, and obviously Pierre has been there. He has been there for 2 years, but he has been fine-tuning what they had. I would imagine getting rid of people from the old guard that just were not doing the job. I'm sorry. Again, I never want to see anybody lose their job, but if you cannot produce new Halo content, then what are we actually doing here? And again, I'm going to say that I have been very happy as a Halo multiplayer fan, how much multiplayer content I have gotten in the last 12 to 14 to even 16 months. I mean, they're consistently putting out fantastically well-designed maps, lots of skins for me to buy, which I enjoy doing. And I've been playing multiplayer quite a bit, and I do like for instance, the Halloween one started on the 8th, and there's a lot to get if you want to get the season pass and get in there and do it. You should. I'm already locked and loaded. I cannot wait to continue playing that. But let's bring in Everborn Saga, who is here. Everborn, welcome, kind sir. How you feeling? And let's get your thoughts on Halo.
All right. Well, first of all, shout out to Mag. We have not been on a show in far too long.
It has been a very long
It's
time.
been a minute, indeed.
This is like getting the Beatles back together, man. Like we all we're just missing Kay Asante and Wandering Dutch.
Yeah,
and
I was
we got
wondering,
the
is he
gang back
running from
together.
the hurricane? What the hell's going on with KSI?
I talked to him
Yeah,
he's good. I talked to him this
yeah,
afternoon. He's safe. The family and him are
He's
safe.
hunkering down.
I
Yeah.
pictured him running down the highway with the 4090 under his arm, full speed, with this hurricane chasing him, and he's just like the Flash. But he's got the 4090 under the arm because he's not leaving that behind.
I can't lie. Like if we have a fire, I might go for the 4090 first, like to make sure it's safe. Okay, so but Halo. Well, first of all, before Halo, thank you everybody that we were successful. The campaign was successfully funded yesterday, and it's thanks to everybody in the community. Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody that shared it and talked about it. So yes, thank you. Now, Halo. I have so many thoughts on Halo, and I will be as quick as I can. The first thing is, I would just like to say that Mag, you are right. Halo Infinite was one of the best Halo campaigns in the entire series.
Yep.
Now, it launched to an 87 meta, basically universal praise. Not one person has ever accused Halo Infinite of not being fun. And it launched to 20 million people, because when people hear that choir go off, the Halo choir, they start paying attention.
Indeed.
And so the reason Infinite had an issue and where we are today is because they didn't have content to back up the multiplayer. But you know what they have right now? Content. They have Forge. They have they add in third person mode. There's so much to do there. And you know what would bring people back? A campaign edition.
Indeed.
You would get millions of people to come back to the game, and now they have stuff to do in the post game. It just feels like the biggest fumbled bag that while we're waiting for the next Unreal thing, that there's no campaign edition to Halo Infinite. I genuinely don't understand it, but we are where we are. Now, as to the news, they said all the things they needed to say. They said all the right words, and I'm excited about the future. And now, Boom, you asked what the future should be. I think job number one, because they said they have multiple projects underway, is for the love of Pete. Separate the multiplayer from the campaign and let them be on two different tracks.
That's a great point.
Let them have, because if you have multiple projects, they probably have multiple teams under Halo Studios. It's not called Halo Studio, it's Studios.
Yes, with
right?
an S.
So have one team or whatever team's working on your battle royale and whatever the future multiplayer of Halo is going to be, and have another team working on where they're going to take mainline Halos, like not numbered Halos, but Chief Story. And then maybe have another team that works with other developers to tell other stories other places in the world. Maybe you get that third person lock game we've all been talking about. That's more of an action adventure over the shoulder kind of thing. Because again, the universe of Halo is bigger than just Chief Story. So while we still need to see what happened with Chief, and by the way, in terms of the way they ended Infinite, Mag, you know what I realized they did?
Yeah.
What I realized they did to Chief in the way Infinite, they Incredible Hulk them, like what the MCU did to the Hulk. And if you played the game, you know what I'm talking about.
Don't spoil it. Yeah, I specifically didn't spoil it for some people in the crowd, because you never know. I know it's wild, but some people may have not finished that game or played that game. I played through the Halo Infinite campaign twice. Jean-Marc Louis, how many times did you play it, sir? But anyways, sorry. Him and I've been going back and forth in the chat. It's been it's been cute. I love it, dude. I love it. Hey, anyways, they left it open for DLC.
They did 100%. They did,
but Chief deserves a rematch.
However, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know why? Because the financial department of Microsoft, not Xbox, says he's not getting a sequel. He's not getting a rematch. They're rebranding. And I'm telling you right now, the fact that you know what gave it away right away? The actual branding of the studio. When I saw that word that said, what the hell does that say? And I'm like, oh, Halo Studios. And I'm like,
even though it looks like it says Halo.
I know I don't like the A and I don't like the H. But the thing is, this is a full rebranding, and I think that was a bold statement by them saying we're not going back. And just hear me out for 1 second. Give me 1 minute, and then I'll give you back the mic. They're gonna say people are gonna be pissed off, right? They're gonna be like, "Oh man, this is gonna piss off the core." Okay, look at the crowd of people that you have on Xbox specifically that play it. You have X amount of people, no pun intended. Then you've got the Halo fans, even smaller, right? There you go. Now you've got the hardcore Halo fans. How many of those are? Even smaller. So you keep going from one subsect to a smaller subsect to a smaller subsect to a smaller percentage of people. In the end, from their point of view, they sat down in a boardroom, in a big fancy boardroom with a big oak table and a big scratchy board up there, and they're looking at it saying, okay, how many people are we going to piss off? And then they're like, well, by our estimates, about 4% of the X amount of people that are playing in the Xbox ecosystem. They're like, okay, that's acceptable casualties. We'll go forward with that. You know, like in war, when the government sits down and says, estimate how many soldiers we're going to lose, how many civilians are going to die. They say, okay, 25,000. They're like, all right, that's acceptable. Move forward with the bombing or whatever they're doing. That's the same thing here. They're going to say this is an acceptable amount of casualties, but at the same time, if the game is hot, those people will be pissed for 72 hours on Twitter, just like everything else, every outrage. People were outraged with me last week. By 3 days later, they're saying, hey, Mag, how's it going? You know what I mean? It's just everybody moves on to the next outrage. They'll be there to play that game. But it is now onto them. Halo Studios has a responsibility now to release an absolute banger. I know you said that Infinite was an 87, but what they have to, and it was an 87 meta. It was a great score. However, people weren't sticking with the game. They tried putting free-to-play multiplayer. People didn't play it. They need to get people to stay in there and build an audience, build a huge audience. And from there, that's their goal. Those people that might be upset with the fact that they started from scratch or whatever, they did a reboot, they'll come back and they'll play it begrudgingly at first, but they'll still play the game. That's what it comes down to. You got to build a quality game first and foremost, and people will come. You know, like Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. Sorry, Everborn. Go ahead, buddy. I just wanted to get that out of my.
Yeah, no, all good. So the thing with like the move to Unreal, I think it is a good thing because when they showed this thing, which you are right, it was basically a recruitment ad, right? I was waiting for somebody to do like the salute and say I'm doing my part. But the the thing is, I think that like it also reminded me of when they first showed us Halo Infinite, and then like none of that stuff turned out to look the way they showed it. And so, but the difference this time is that we know that UE5 is proven to look the way they showed us. Nothing they showed us looks like it's not possible after you've played Hellblade, right?
Yep.
And so what excites me is that we know Halo has amazing artists, right? So, and we know Microsoft through Coalition and now Ninja Theory has the talent and the chops to create something like that, from motion capture to everything else. My only question really is, can they get it to feel like Halo? Now, I want to be very clear, right? Because I know there's a lot of people saying it should be different. Yes, it should be different, but there are ways to bring something into the future while still honoring where you came from. So Halo Infinite feels like a Halo game, while at the same time, if you actually went back and played Combat Evolved and went back and played Halo 3, they're completely different games. Completely different in terms of verticality, in terms of movement, in terms of speed. So you can still feel like what makes Halo great while doing something completely new. Now, there's the flip side of that argument, which is God of War 2018 got all that praise because they completely changed it up. God of War 2018 is nothing like the first three God of Wars. So is that what they are going to do?
You would like
That's
to
what-
hope so. Again,
No. But that would mean it's not going to feel like Halo anymore. And are we going to be comfortable for that? Because God of War 2018, you can ask David Jaffe, feels nothing like the games he created. Right? And we have to ask ourselves as Halo fans, are we cool with that? For me, this is why I say you need, and they have multiple projects. So for me, I say make sure you continue Chief's story and make that feel like Halo. And then have other projects going on, like maybe the remake, right? Because they could very well say we're going to UE5 and we're going to pull a Gears E-Day and just bring it back and tell you another part of the story. Like what happened, like there's a bunch of things that they could do. So now the next thing is, did you all notice Tim Sweeney taking his victory lap, talking about how he's so pleased to have them using Unreal to take Halo forward? Now, somewhat, I don't know how no one has made the meme yet of Tim Sweeney as the Grim Reaper knocking on the doors with all the different bespoke engines that now UE5 has replaced, right? Like that's the like. So while I'm super excited for the future of Halo, I love the direction they're going, and I believe in Pete Hines. Sorry, not Pete Hines. Pierre Hines. Pete Hines, but different. But it is a sad day, not for Halo, but for the bespoke engines of the world, right? We still have id Tech, we still have the Decima engine, but now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, how long before Bethesda folds, right? We lost the Red engine, right? Because CDPR is going to UE5, right? And I know Umbra's in the chat just rubbing his hands together like, good. Excellent.
Well, look, we still have Forza Tech engine. We still have COD engine.
You still got id.
Yeah, no, I know,
but
I just
that's just at Xbox, right? There's plenty of other ones out there too. So
yeah, and my only thing is that, like, while I'm a huge fan of what UE5 has been able to do, I do think we lose something when we have less bespoke engines that are handling lighting in different ways and doing these other things. But I think this is the right move because they had to be. There's so much technical debt that engine had. It's a 25-year-old thing. This is like people still working in COBOL, right?
Well, but I'll point that Unreal's older, but whatever.
But Unreal has been updated with the times and has way more support.
Yeah, they actually have
a
team working on it, right? And it makes it better. Yeah. And I was just going to add, hey, if you're saying it's going to have the God of War treatment, is Master Chief not going to be able to jump anymore?
I hope not.
Hey.
I mean, don't do it.
So these are the things. I'm very happy for Halo. I think it's a huge missed opportunity that there's no story campaign for Infinite while we wait for whatever Halo Next is, because it would literally bring back maybe tens of millions of people.
Yeah,
right?
You're not wrong.
Halo does that
yeah.
when they come out. It's just a fact. And you have the content to meet them. And so the other thing is separate multiplayer from story and do spin-offs in the universe that don't follow Chief. Yeah. Those are my things.
No, and great points from everybody so far. I mean, listen, at the end of the day,
hey guys, sorry, Boom. I'm in the background. I'm dealing with a production issue at work. That's why my camera's not on.
That's
so
fine.
I'm here though. Just call me when it's my turn.
We'll come back to you. I mean, look, I'll say this to kind of close out this topic and move on into the ridiculousness that's known as October for gaming. Because if you just look at let's just say this, what bookends this month is September 30th with Starfield. Now, there's been way more people enjoying it than people hating on it. I will say the amount of goodness that has come out of that expansion it's brought back a ton. I mean, a ton of people, not only buying the game but also buying the DLC. So if you take the 30th of September and the 31st of October, which of course you have Dragon Age, BioWare seems to be back. Everyone that I've spoken to behind the scenes have like, boom, they're back. And this is what I want to hear because I bought the deluxe edition of that and I'm not sorry that I did. And those are your bookends. And Mag, I know that we have only for a little bit more, so I want to go right to you first on it. Then we'll go reverse order to Hargeet and Everborn. I don't think people understand what bananas of a month this is. I mean, just two off the top. Metaphor is already being touted as game of the year. I think it is going to win. It is. I know it's not for you, and I was in your camp until I played the prologue, and holy cow, I am now, and again, I've always appreciated Atlas from a distance. I'm like, that's an amazing JRPG studio. Everything that they release is just bangers. They probably should be the publisher of the year, well, or a developer of the year, with Sega being the publisher of the year, because they have put out just a bunch of amazing games. And Metaphor is basically the cherry on top of this banana boat.
Yeah,
Sunday.
Infinite Wealth came out this year too, right?
It sure did. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a 90-something meta as well.
Yeah, it's Persona 3 Reloaded is another one. It's
Infinite sold more than that new Star Wars game.
It absolutely did.
The Star Wars game sold in over a month.
Didn't they have Persona 5 Tactica come out this year?
Yep.
They also had a Unicorn Overlord. It came out also. I mean,
which, by the way, Tactica came day and date Game Pass, did it not?
It did. But can we take a moment just to acknowledge the insane run that Sega has been on?
They have
just outside of that, Sonic, right. But
right. But hey, Keanu Reeves is doing the voice for Shadow. Did you know that they just greenlit a Shinobi live action movie?
They absolutely did.
Correct. And yes. Alien Isolation too.
Yes, that shocked me. But that's a very welcome surprise. I'll take Alien
I literally during the summer played through it because obviously the game is a decade old, and I had bought it and I just never didn't finish it. And I said,
it on Game Pass for a while?
It was on Game Pass for a while.
I remember that, yeah.
And the DLC, all of DLC, I think is like $7 right now. So go buy it. Go buy the game. It's terrifying when that alien is like right next to you, and you're praying to the gaming gods that it doesn't look over and see you. It is just unbelievable. And of course, I started playing it because I saw Alien Romulus, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta play something aliens, and here we go. Go play that game. But Mag, look. Dragon Ball, the new Dragon Ball. I'm folks. I need help because the FOMO is setting in. I haven't bought a Dragon Ball game in freaking years, and Sparking Zero is making some numbers, and it is. I mean, listen, it's Dragon Ball. I'm probably going to break down and wind up getting it. But it's not just like you have Metaphor and you have Dragon Ball and then you got, Dragon Age on the back end. They just had Until Dawn. Now, granted, on PC, it's not running very well, which doesn't surprise me because, well, it is what it is. They have the Silent Hill 2, which I know, Mag, I don't know whether you got it, you're playing it or not. But that's,
I'm waiting, but I'm waiting for until next month. I'll play it.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, but there is literally so many games releasing. What's the top couple that you are like? I cannot wait to play for October.
October itself. Listen, I'm not the Metaphor ReFantazio game. It's not really my jam. By the way, that name. It just sounds like I laugh every time I see it because all I can think of, it sounds like my old Italian grandmother giving me shit for something. It'd be like, "Hey, Antonia, me che cazzo Metaphor ReFantazio," and I'm like, "Okay, sorry, Grandma, I'm gonna go get it. I'll go get it." It's like it's such a funny name. But anyways, it is what it is. It's not my jam. It's it's not my thing. But it's okay. There's no problem with that. The Dragon Age thing, I made fun of it a whole lot. I called it Dragon Age Fortnite because it kind of looked like Fortnite characters a little bit. However, it takes a big man, Jean-Marc Louis, it takes a big man to go back in there and say, listen, you know what? I keep hearing the same things you are, Boom, because I know people who played the game. I know people who finished the game. And they're like, this thing is pretty legit.
Yeah.
And then when you hear these things of like the combat of certain, Sony games, they're like, oh, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like God of War. It's got a little bit of this in there. And I'm like, no way it has any of that stuff. The trailers I watched, the more I saw it, the less I was interested. But then I keep hearing people who've actually got their hands
actually
on
played
it.
the game. Yeah.
Yes, and who have finished it. I know 2 people who finished the game entirely, and they're like, "No, dude, this is pretty legit." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Maybe this is it." And let's face it, for BioWare, we all know that this is a make or break for them. If they fail at this one, BioWare is over. They will be disbanded, they will be liquidated, and they will be sort of spread. And all the talent, whoever's the actual talented people in the studio, will be spread out to other studios. That's kind of where they're sitting right now. So it's that situation. Now, that one's kind of got me really curious. I'm waiting to see those scores, right? That's a big one. Now, the biggest one, obviously, we got to go to Black Ops 6.
Indeed. The 25th.
And
I freaking can't wait.
We got to now, the thing is, people ask me because, of all the controversy, they're like, oh, Mag, you buying it on PlayStation, you pony, or you're going to get it on Game Pass. I still have Game Pass to the end of the year. So, in fact, Microsoft is going to like me more than you. I'm actually buying it on both. I'm buying it on PlayStation, and I'm going to be playing it on Game Pass on Xbox with the community. So I will be playing in big parties and lobbies and all that kind of stuff on Xbox. I already got hundreds of people hitting me up for it, saying, when are we doing this? When are we doing this? And I said, we're doing it. So I will be playing it on Xbox, on Game Pass. However, because I game share with other people in my house on PlayStation, I will be also purchasing Black Ops 6 on the PlayStation side of things, and I will be sharing it with my wife because she wants to play it too. She no longer has an Xbox. So we're going to be doing that. So I'm double dipping like a mofo. So I will be playing. And you know what the goal is? The goal is I'm going to get as everybody knows, I'm a completionist. Jean-Marc Louis. I have 400,000 gamer score. Risk it for the biscuit. What's up, buddy? I have about 400,000 gamer score. I'm going to go for 1,000 out of 1,000 on Xbox, and I'm going to platinum the game.
Oh, wow. That's
I'm going to do
the
both.
Ground there, fella.
I'm going to do it. And my wife did it with Hogwarts Legacy. She got 1,000 on Xbox.
Wow.
And then she ended up getting a platinum on the PS5 just recently. I'll do the same thing for Black Ops 6. Let's have some fun. So Xbox community people, hit me up on Xbox. And of course, on the PlayStation side, same name. You'll find me there too. I'll be playing on both. So that's going to be the big one. And why? Not only is because it's Black Ops 6. I was not happy with, there was a few entries in Black Ops I wasn't happy with. However, like 3 and 4, I thought were big misses for me. But
5 was terrible. But it was only
the zombies were great though. Like even in Black Ops 3, zombies was one of my favorite. The thing with this one is that this is a sequel to one of my favorite CODs of all time. That would be Cold War. Cold War was one of my favorite campaigns. I got 1,000 out of 1,000 on Xbox. But man, it was so good. No, sorry, excuse me. I got like 970 because there's one achievement I couldn't get, and it was that stupid game. You guys remember that game? It was like the retro game, the multi-shooter game that was in there.
Yeah, you had to play the arcade game.
Yes, the arcade game, the arcade zombies. Yeah, you had to get to like level 75 to get the last 30 achievement points, and I couldn't get it. Sorry, excuse me. I stand corrected. I got 970, I think it was, out of 1,000. Almost impossible for me anyway. But that story in Cold War was so damn good. Yeah. And then when I saw the same characters, like that Robert Redford looking dude,
the guy with the sunglasses and the scar on his face, that prick.
Yeah, he looked. Yeah, I just call him Robert Redford from the 80s. So the Robert Redford dude is back. I thought he was a badass character. Yeah, he's an ass, but like he was a badass character. Really excited for that, and I'm really excited to see where this goes, especially now that we're hitting the end of the Reagan era into the George Bush era of the United States before we get into the Clinton era, or around the Clinton era as well. So it was all mixed in there. There was a lot of shady guys on this panel. I know we're old enough to be around for that. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of shady stuff going around
Hey,
between
Mag, you think
88
there'll be a level
Yeah.
where you got to hide the blue dress when they get to the Clinton era?
it's going to be
Only
called,
us old men would know exactly what
Everborn.
that is.
It's going to be called Hot Coffee Part 2. For those who know,
Holy cow! Hot
those who
coffee.
know,
That's from
you
a
know.
GTA thing. Yeah.
for those who know, old enough.
Do not cross the streams.
Yeah,
Oh,
do
I'm
not
sorry.
cross the streams, folks. So that is that's obviously the big one. On the Xbox, on the PlayStation side, yes, I will be playing Silent Hill, but I'm waiting for the PS5 Pro to play it on there because I heard that even though I'm an extreme pony, I heard that on the PS5 it's actually running very poorly. So I'm not happy about that. So I'm gonna wait and see how it runs on the Pro first before I even bite. Let's face it, guys. Games are $100 now. I'm not going to spend $100 on a game that's not running well, and that's all there is to it. And like even moving forward, I know some people ask me in the chat here about Game Pass, and I said, listen, if I find that Xbox releases several games in a year that I find are game worthy for me, I will subscribe to Game Pass. If it's not, and if I find like let's say 1 or 2 titles that are hot that year, I'd actually find it much more financially feasible for me to just purchase the game outright. And do you think Phil Spencer gives a rat's ass if I bought the game on Xbox or PlayStation or whatever? Like if I decide to buy South of Midnight and Doom next year, and for me that's all whatever. And let's say Fable gets pushed later to 2026 or something, I'd actually rather just buy the games, and I'll just be more than happy to play them wherever they play. Like
Mag,
you know what I mean? So yeah,
Mag.
yes.
You don't have to explain yourself to these ninjas.
I don't.
No.
I'm just, but
No.
people are actually legitimately asking. They're not accusing me.
Okay.
There's 2 people
But-
in the chat that are like just going wild. But
Some wild
But-
accusations.
But
there's
the thing
always
is,
that's
just
always
one-
the way. That's always
just
the way.
one thing real quick. So like I'll come back. Hargeet, you go. You had something.
Yeah, so I
Actually,
was
you
just
know
going to add a PSA, which to Mag's point,
Yeah.
you don't have to like when there's games, you can just subscribe, right? But here's the thing, Mag, just keep in mind at the
Yes.
holidays coming out, look for the deals because look, at least on the Xbox side,
We
you
don't get
discounts. Go look
Yeah.
for the deals. You'll probably get a 3-month code for Ultimate for like $25 US.
Canadian-
I don't know what that is in
Canadian
but
Canadian gamers. If you guys find something, like hit me up because Canada doesn't get the deals you guys get. I know you guys
it would
get these
be,
keys
it would be on
deals and all this
Eneba or
stuff.
CD keys or something
Yeah,
like
go to
that. It
CD
would be a
Keys. They have
global code.
worldwide codes.
It'll be a
have-
global
they have
code.
worldwide-
Yeah,
yeah,
you can
absolutely.
use
Then
it.
someone
Okay.
DM me. Hit me up with the
Right,
stuff.
you know
yeah,
what?
so
Greg,
it'll be
when I find them, I'll send them over to you.
However,
because
Exactly. If you can get it
difference.
down to $25, $24 for 3 months, it's a fantastic deal.
that's
Don't
a
use it. You don't even have
no-brainer.
to use it. Just go pick it up, put it
Save
in
it.
your back pocket, and when you want to play the games,
Well,
put the code in.
that's
you know
what
I
I'm
mean? And now
looking
you
at.
got 3 months.
Colt and I
Mag.
talked about yes.
So I remember what I was gonna say. I was
Yeah.
on We Bleed Green earlier this week, and
Uh-huh.
you came up in the chat,
Of
and I
course I
said, "You
came up,
guys
yes.
don't." I said, "You guys don't understand. We sent Mag over as a plant.
Oh, just relaxed.
This
Yeah.
is method acting for Pony Master 420."
Oh my
that's
god!
exactly
wouldn't
what
that
it
be?
is.
Wouldn't that be funny if that's what it was? Hey, listen, man.
They're gonna
I say
They're
what
gonna
I say.
welcome him in open arms into PlayStation Nation, and when he's in there and no one's looking, he's planting the explosives, folks. I'm telling you,
It's
I have video of it.
it's wild how angry. I gotta say this. As funny as that is funny. It's wild how angry people get when I say, yeah, listen, I haven't turned my Xbox on since what the hell is it called? Hellblade 2.
Hellblade. But
And I'm
that's
like,
okay,
whatever.
dude.
And you know
are a
what? No, well,
PlayStation-
apparently it's
I
not
like that.
okay because people went absolutely insane. Shout out to whatever his name is there. I can't remember his name. He was the one clipping me and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, so you heard 20 seconds of my 5-minute talk. Right. So the people that are listening, it's just like when you watch like a video on the news and like, look what I just did. But you didn't see what happened before. And you didn't see what happened after. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
So
okay,
not
I'll
that
do
I-
what you do.
Call up people in the community, but it was funny that clip. All the people that are in that podcast, they're all Xbox people.
That is really funny.
It
Yeah,
is
because
funny.
like we had D-Batch was in there and everything else, and we were talking, whatever. Anyway, the
It's
point
fine.
is,
It's fine.
just to wrap this up before I zip out of here, is that I know it's not October, Boom, but I'm going to sneak it in here because I'm not here for the rest of the show. Indy Jones. Indy Jones
Yeah,
for
dude.
me has to hit, and it has to hit Like, it just has to hit.
I got a chance to see behind the scenes. I was invited to see hands off. This was a hands off preview. I got a chance to sit down and ask questions to the development, the two leads, which is great. And the stuff that I saw that was not a part of Jeff's show, it's my dude, as an OG, as someone that looks to Indiana Jones, the first one. I like them all. The last two, maybe not so much, but I do like the first three. The first Indiana Jones is like a personal thing for me because my dad took me to City Cinema in the Bronx to go see that with him. And it really, and so what I'm basically saying is you are a fan of Indiana Jones. I don't understand how they were able to make it as authentic as it is, but it is honestly a one-to-one of the film. It's just amazing.
All right. Now, the reason why, you know what this reminded me of, Boom, and I don't know if anybody, you guys in this panel played this or in the chat. Back in the 90s, I played it on PC. There was an Indiana Jones game. There was several, but there was one in particular called Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine.
I heard about that. I don't know if I don't remember playing it.
I played it on PC because it was not available on any console at the time. I know that there were other ones, Fate of Atlantis and things like that. But this Infernal Machine game was magical because to me, it was literally Tomb Raider. Because remember, at that time, Tomb Raider was hot, right? Because Tomb Raider was on PlayStation and it was the Tomb Raider 1, Tomb Raider 2, and 3. And somewhere between 2 and 3, Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine dropped. And I'm playing it and I'm like, holy crap. This is the Tomb Raider that I've just been playing on my console, except it's actually Indiana Jones because we all know that, let's face it, Tomb Raider is always that tip of the cap to indie, right? Same with Uncharted. It's always the tip of the cap to, no pun intended, to indie, right? So the fact that you actually got to play indie was great. And of course, the game itself was great. There was moments of Atlantis in there and all kinds of other cool stuff and lore. I was all in on it. When I saw this reminded me of Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine, just obviously way better graphics. Some of the first-person stuff looked a little funny from the trailer. Maybe it was just the way the trailer looked. You know what I mean? Like the whip and the punching and stuff looked kind of funny. But I'm like, you know what? That doesn't translate unless it's in my hands.
Wait, again, I think everyone's going to be pleasantly surprised because I'm not breaking any NDAs or anything. It's been out there. People talked about it, but
that's I'm going to be playing it first. I'm going to give it my first run of the game on Xbox because I got Game Pass, and then I'm going to play it again on the PS5 Pro, which I did say I'm going to be playing it on the PS5 Pro in the spring. Because I want to see technical improvements on the game. And I want to see if
there will be. I don't necessarily know how much more.
I don't know. I just know that there were a couple of games that they were saying that they will be PS5 Pro and Xbox games that will be PS5 Pro enhanced. I'm like, all right, cool. Then show me what I paid for that other console. So I will be running it through in December on Game Pass, and then in the new year I will be buying it for PS5 Pro. So I'm looking forward to it either way. But I'm, like I said, double fingers, toes crossed, everything crossed that this game really hits because I'm really looking forward to it. So it's a big win for me. But anyways, back to the thing. I got Dragon Age on my mind. And I've got Black Ops in my sights, no pun intended.
And yeah, you got the 25th and then the 31st. So yeah, you're
right. It's going to be a busy time of year. And like I said, Silent Hill is going to wait till November. But until then, but gentlemen,
great to have you back, Mag.
It was wonderful. I had a wonderful time with you guys. It's great to hear your voices outside of my phone. You know what I mean? Like listening to your shows on the phone. Actually, nice to get you in the headphones. So, Everborn, Hargeet, Boom, and Chat. Love you guys. Everybody,
love you too, brother. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Yes,
to the family, brother.
Yes, thank you so much, and to you as well. And I will be listening to the rest of the show later when I'm done my calls.
Thank you, bro. Talk to
you
later,
guys. Have a good night.
All right, sir. Always a pleasure.
So, Hargeet, before I bring you in, brother, let me just catch up on these super chats. There's been quite a few of them. Bounty, our generous friend of the program, who's been a channel member for 40 long months. Holy matrimony. That is very kind of you, brother. He says, Wagwan, Boom, and panel. I can't wait to get back into Halo. Let's have a great show indeed. And of course, not to be outdone, Aries_EMS has gifted 10 double barrel gaming memberships. That is incredibly kind of you, Aries. Thank you so much for the consistent generosity. We truly appreciate it. BT Maverick 707 says, just want to welcome Pony Dreamcast Mag to the show. love having the diversity in opinions and great. Get ready for Halo to be on PlayStation because he is 100% something or other. Something 100% LOL. I mean, listen, I don't know if it is. I folks, you know how I feel about getting games over there. I kind of like the Peter Moore way of doing business. I don't know if that's ever gonna, if that's gonna be with the three bigs. I hope it is, but we will see.
Boom. Can I say one thing about that? Listen, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. They got to do what's good for the business.
I get it. Yeah,
I just think Halo
it shouldn't.
Like
that's
just the one that just
Gears,
really...
Halo, and Forza, man. It just shouldn't go.
But is it good for the business?
Look, I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all.
I call the PlayStation guys Concord pissers for a reason. They don't play games. I'm sorry. Until Dawn just came out, it's doing worse than Concord.
Well, it's
doing
Hell World went over there. It's not selling.
No, but
they don't play games. I'm sorry, they don't.
You know what did sell? Sea of Thieves. So the thing is,
1 million in 40 on the other side, 1 million on one side. I'm sorry, that's not enough.
I hear you. All I'm saying is
that's not enough.
I don't personally. I don't think. I think it's going to blow up in their face. But that's not for me to decide. They're looking at numbers that you and I are not privy to.
They need to invite us into those rooms. Is what they need to do.
Right.
Xbox, I know you're listening.
Halo, of all things, is the one thing that should not go. Just for the identity of the brand.
It just feels wrong. I'm just gonna say that it's just something's so wrong about that. But listen, let me continue. 3 more super chats to get into. Sith Lord, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, "Blast from the past, Mag, back on primetime gaming, indeed." You know, when we have topics like this, I like to bring him in because every now and again he snags a piece of information that he throws out there to the ether, and sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. Pioneer drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Looking forward to the remake." Yes, me too. I would really love to play a Halo Combat Evolved from the ground up in Unreal Engine 5. Like, I think that would be just epic. And look, do we all want something new for Halo? I think we all do. That's not even a question. But if I'm writing a story, if I'm picking up the pen to be the author here, and I'm saying, okay, we've already got confirmation that they are working on making the 25th anniversary of the Xbox, the platform, a big deal. That happens in 2026. That also just happens to be the year that's rumored to be the year of the new console. I think, and again, this is a storybook written, folks. I don't think I could write a better script. If you were to release Combat Evolved, the game that launched the brand, that put the brand on the fucking map, and you do it in Unreal Engine 5, and it's this grand love letter to everything that we love about Halo. It's going back. It's not an anniversary edition. It's literally the original Combat Evolved from asshole to elbow, and you freaking made it in Unreal Engine 5, and it's launching on your console to that's brand new. That's like literally the next generation. I'm getting goosebumps.
So boom. The only hesitation I would say there is we don't want to repeat the same mistakes twice, because they cannot. I don't think they missed the last time, but they can't miss for the people that thought they missed. We don't want to force the date of the game to match the hardware launch, because that's what they tried to do with Infinite. And
but this is different, though. This is something they've been working on for a while, man. And it's not.
How long were they working on Infinite, though, right?
But see, the problem is Infinite. The difference here is Infinite was it was Slip Space engine that they just had so much trouble with. This is Unreal Engine 5. And Infinite was a new tale. This is basically taking the bones of Halo Combat Evolved and slapping Unreal Engine onto it. You're not changing the story. It's going to be Combat Evolved.
Yeah, so look, I think I agree with everyone in a way, and I agree with you, Boom, in a way. And the thing that they're going to do, because you've noticed what they've done, they're not telling you these are coming out. They just do the June showcase.
Yes.
Here's a roadmap.
Here's a
And then when
roadmap.
it comes to that January, developer direct, that's when you're going to find out what's coming out this year.
Yes.
And they're going to do something very similar. They're not going to tell you a couple of years ahead of time, this is going to be a launch up, because they just don't have that trust anymore. So they're going to make sure it's going to be within like 8 months of the release of the console that they'll tell you, yes, we think we're good because the game's complete. We're now in QA mode, right?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Because that's the only way they're going to say yes, right? So I think everyone's right. I think they're going to be very reluctant to give you that list until it's very close to the release. And that's
we are still in 2024. We still technically, we're not even holiday 2024 as of yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're coming close. But if you consider that there could be anywhere between 24 and 30 months from launch of console,
it's a possibility. It could happen.
It's just,
so,
again.
Okay. Now, how about this, Boom? This is just my opinion, right? They should wait until the game is ready and then launch the console with the game, as opposed to the other way around.
No, that's not a bad idea either.
Right?
I actually don't think that's
if they're both ready, fantastic. But
I wouldn't hold the console.
I'm just saying.
It's
want to
definitely
launch it with the things,
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. We have plenty of time to get there.
To not just go ahead, right? Because they could launch it with E-Day. They could launch it with Elder Scrolls. They could launch it with Perfect Dark. They have so much in their
whatever's ready.
Whatever's ready.
So they can just go, right? Forza Horizon 6 could be ready. They should just go. They should. And the reason
First of all,
do that,
they can launch with COD.
Start the next gen. Yes, 100%. That's right. They have COD, and that will always be the game that comes out every fall.
But because they have, this is why I'm saying this, Boom, because they have so many heavy hitter games, you don't have to, force Halo into that.
1,000%. No, I don't want to force anything. I'm just saying that if you're looking for a storybook start to your next generation, how freaking amazing would it be? The 25th anniversary, new console, Halo Combat Evolved that launched 25 years ago gets an Unreal Engine 5 remake, and you got Call of Duty coming out, you got potentially Elder Scrolls launching in the same year. It just would be, it's okay. And here's the kicker. Again, I know we're going off kilter here, but this is where we have fun in the show. It would also potentially be a 360 moment where they jump Sony by at least a year. And if you start that jump a year ahead of PlayStation 6 with Combat Evolved and a freaking new Xbox that has changed the industry once again, with having it basically be a PC underneath your TV with the Epic Game Store and Steam and all of your library, it just seems like it would be such a joyous occasion for anyone that is Xbox, and people that have left would come running back to be a part of that. Again, I know it's me talking about unicorns and rainbows all day long, but that's the world I want to live in. Real quick, Cargie, before we get to you, RC Polygons drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, I don't want Halo. He goes, I don't Halo would go. I think he meant to say, I don't think Halo would go multi-platform, since Satya said that they need exclusives because of Sony. I'd rather have ABK and Bethesda under Xbox if it means some games go to PlayStation. Xbox has more games than PlayStation. Indeed, I think that's a fair trade-off. I know everyone literally has said that leave ABK and Bethesda for the streets. But when it comes to like IPs like Halo, Forza, and Gears, that really should stay on Xbox. But Hargeet, you buy a lot of games, you play a lot of games, you finish a lot of games. You're coming up soon to be on vacation for a very long time, towards the middle of December. That's really when you put the work in. But October is shaping up to be one of the best months of the year. It's just banger after banger after banger. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, Metaphor is it's not unexpected by me, because I like the Persona games. So
okay, good.
So I was expecting to like Metaphor as well. because it gives me those Persona vibes, and apparently it kind of fixes some of the annoying things about Persona, which is even better. So I'd already pre-ordered it. I already have the $100 edition, like you pre-ordered. So I'll be playing. I guess it comes out tomorrow, right? Is it releasing
I
tomorrow?
thought it was
Friday. I don't know.
Friday. Friday.
Yeah,
I'm
so
pretty sure.
yeah, I'll play that over the weekend. But yeah, and of course we get COD, right? Dragon Age. It's an interesting one. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it right now or not, and mostly it's because I don't know if I have time. So Dragon Age is gonna come to Game Pass. We know that because it's EA, right? That doesn't mean I wouldn't buy it anyway, but I don't know. I'll wait. I think I'm gonna wait on that one. Probably get through Metaphor, which is probably gonna be 100 hours.
80 to 100 hours and just a regular game itself.
The Persona games are that long, right? So, so if I'm gonna spend time on that, then I'm gonna spend time on that. And I have so many. I haven't played freaking Yakuza. I want to play Infinite. Well, they've announced the new game, and I haven't even finished the last one. So there's so many games. That's kind of my problem. But
they have a live action series coming out also.
I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah. So as far as the what else is come out this month? We got Thorn and Liberty, which I don't know if people are taking a look at that or not. But it's kind of a big MMORPG that just launched. Silent Hill, as you know, Vessel of Hatred, Sparking Zero, which, hey, a lot of people are going to like it, right? So, and then Dragon Age is coming, Black Ops 6. It is an interesting month, right? So Silent Hill is coming out to very good reviews. It was not, from what we had originally saw, we were like, this is probably not going to be that great. But no, it's getting pretty good reviews. So, and that's out on PC, so I could always pick it. Here's the thing. I don't like horror games, so, and I know it's kind of maybe more suspense horror, but yeah, it's the same with Alan Wake. I was like, I don't know if I want to play Alan Wake 2. Supposedly great game, but I'm like, I don't necessarily care. RE games, same thing. I like, okay. I don't really care. And it's funny, I know I try to play everything, but it's like, I just don't like that genre that much.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, but there's a bunch of games. That's just the way it is. But for me, that's every month because I just look at everything that comes out.
I buy a lot of games, dude. I buy a lot of games.
Another one.
Yeah.
So,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and look, it's gonna continue, right? November is not a slouch. We get Stalker, we get Flight
the
Sim,
20th,
and a bunch of other games, right? So, and we do get. We get December, we get Hindi, and I don't know. I have bad feeling, but we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think it's gonna do as well as we think. So
I hope it does, to be honest with you. I really do. I'm really pulling for this. That is actually my most anticipated game of the year because I'm such an indie fan.
It was mine.
And,
but
I mean, listen, we will see. Again, I don't mind December. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nothing really happens in December. Has the whole month before the holiday to breathe and be great.
Boom. But we'll still be playing all the games from October until December.
Well, you know
Here's
what?
The thing.
Let me wait before I bring you in. Let me just give you a quick, gentlemen, a list of games that are coming out in October because I got the list in front of me. It's ridiculous. You got Silent Hill 2. Black Ops 6, Dragon Age, the Veilguard, Dragon Age, Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero, Metaphor, Sonic X Shadows, Generations. You have the Diablo Vessel of Hatred that just launched. I'm good for 2 copies of Super Mario Party Jamboree for me and Tyler. Obviously, you got Life is Strange Double Exposure. You got the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
Did Zelda launch this month too?
It did. Yes, I just bought. Yes.
Oh my god!
So you have Batman Arkham Shadow for the VR. You got Kill Knights. You got The Quiet Place. You have Transformers Galactic Trials, and that may be not for everybody. There are just so many games.
No, that was September. It was September.
Was it? Okay.
It was September 26th. And then, of course, we had Shattered Space also launched on
September 30th.
Speaking of September, I haven't beat Space Marine 2 yet.
Oh, dude, I'm
oh my
3
god.
hours
That's
in.
another one, right?
That
was September.
Ridiculous. So let's get. I mean, again, you barely have any time these days, everyone. What tickles your fancy in October?
No, I mean it's all those games you mentioned. Like I I was doing very well. I got a few hours into Space Marine 2, and then that Metaphor demo comes out, and that took over my life. And then, Vessel of Hatred is already downloaded, and now I'm seeing Sparking Zero all over my timeline, right? And so
I'm probably gonna have to buy that game.
and Sonic is about to come out, and everything's gonna drop when that happens. So and then the Call of Duty campaign. I don't like very seriously, right? Like I wanted to play Astrobot, and that's not. I'm just gonna have to wait till that comes to PC or something. I don't know, right? So I'm still backlogged from September before we even consider some of these other stuff. I don't even care and I want to play Dragon Age. So I'm at the point where I'm just hoping I'm glad that and sorry, Ubisoft, I know you guys are going through trouble. I'm glad Assassin's Creed got delayed, because when was I going to play it? Right? I'm glad Avowed got delayed. When was I going to play that?
Yeah, that's another one.
Realistically, probably wouldn't have got to it till February. So this is an embarrassment of riches, but it is also. Wait a minute. Stalker 2, right? Or did that get
that's
moved?
November
Next
20th.
Cut
it out.
So next month we get Stalker. We also get the very important Lego Horizon. You need to go buy that on PC and Switch to make sure PlayStation goes third party.
So here's the thing.
And Mario and Luigi Brothership, by the way, also comes.
Yes.
Do they think we don't have jobs?
Or
is that what they think?
That's what.
Right. And here's the thing:
but
if I didn't have a job,
no games to play.
Wait a minute. If I didn't have a job, how the hell would I buy all these games?
Exactly.
Like, they're gonna have to figure this out, Boom.
It's crazy, man.
It's great. And you know what else? Mongoose Mall says, "What about the boxing game that just released?" Yes, that's
Undisputed.
That's what it is.
Undisputed,
Yes, Undisputed. And I saw the $80 edition. I was like, I can't. I just
it doesn't end.
They're killing
too much.
the wild. I'm retired, folks. I have limitations
so
for crying
much.
out loud. You know what? Look, at the end of the day, folks, I hope you enjoyed the show. This was a lot of fun. We laughed. Everyone laughed almost the whole show. We had over 600 people here live, both through X and YouTube. Thank you so much for checking out the show. A big thank you to all the super chats that came in as well. The new channel memberships, thanks to, of course, Aries_EMS and so many others that have consistently donated the memberships. We truly appreciate them, and they help out more than you could possibly imagine. I had given you guys the heads up that there was not going to be a Breakfast with Boom this Friday because I was going to something that I cannot talk about. Well, that has been moved to the following Friday. So, of course, there will be a Breakfast with Boom this Friday morning. And next Friday, they won't be because I'm going to do something that I can't even discuss. I will eventually be able to talk about it, but I can't talk about it here. So this week, Breakfast with Boom. Next week, no Breakfast with Boom. They switched some things on me, but it's fine because that works out because, of course, I'll be here Friday morning with you guys and gals. And let's get everyone out here. Cargeek, brother, I know that you're going to be sitting down with Fonz in about an hour and a half, give or take.
Yep.
Obviously over at Fonz Gaming, and I saw Fonz in the chat, so welcome to you back, as always, Fonz. Hopefully you're doing well. Cargeek, let's sell your brand, brother. Not only did you write a book this year that's out called Emergence that you have behind you, I want people to buy your book, read your book. I also want to talk about your YouTube channel, because again, he's on a lot of podcasts. I mean, a lot of them, but he has a YouTube channel that he does do content for. Brother, sell the brand. Tell them about where they can subscribe to your YouTube channel, buy your book, and not find you on social media.
Yeah, so subscribe to my channel on YouTube at Target Johnny 1. If you want to pick up my book, it's a Mass Effect like story, sci-fi thing called Emergence. You can go to shop.johnny.us, check that out. And then we'll be on in an hour and a half-ish on Fonz Gaming, the channel. We'll be doing Games Talk Live. Check that out. And then I should be on with C Money and Noodle on Friday at 8 p.m. US Eastern for night shift. So check that out.
Well, brother, thank you so much for being here. As always, appreciate the opinion, appreciate the hard work that you're doing. And Everborn Saga, let's sell your brand, brother, because obviously you did the Kickstarter. It's successful. You're going to be at New York Comic Con towards the end of October. There's ways to go pick up your book if you're actually going to be at the event. There's ways to do that, brother. Sell the brand where people can not only continue to support the Everborn, the book and anime, but also where can people follow you on social media?
Well, it's a good thing you asked me that question because there's some other big news in the world of Everborn. Today, we launched the 2.0 version of the Everborn Saga website. So I would ask everyone, when you get out of here, go to everbornsaga.com and check out the whole redesign and all the new stuff we have on offer. We have a new fall line of apparel. It's very nice, very we got sweaters there, and they're from name brand clothing providers and things like that. So please go ahead and check out everbornsaga.com. Also, Everborn is gonna be at Comic-Con, and I'm Everborn Saga everywhere: Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, TikTok, YouTube, X, XXX. No, but all that stuff. So Everborn Saga, but most importantly, everbornsaga.com. Check out the new website. We worked on this for months, and I'm very excited for everybody to see it. If you're going on your phone, put it in landscape mode so you can get the full effect. But yeah, everbornsaga.com. We got a bunch of new stuff on the site. I'd love to get people going there.
Well, certainly appreciate you being here. Appreciate the work that you're doing with the Everborn Saga. And
oh, wait, sorry. One thing. I think that I'm going to be on Umbra's show, The Fix, tomorrow.
Yes,
so
you
everybody
are.
go over to
UNK
Fix
for that matter.
Thursday night.
I think you guys are having like a Halo roundtable, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So go check that out. That's The Fix tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Daniel McGee and, of course, Infinite Number, who is in the chat as well. And, of course, folks, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others. How do you want to be treated? And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends.